the human guinea pig stuff in Africa is so insane, and the Bill Gates like test. It's almost like this stuff they're doing is so evil. It's almost like if you had a video game and the point of the video game was to be as evil as possible to as many black people in Africa as possible, like and then making it so that they're like trying to get it so they're drinking urine and feces. That's the most insane evil thing, man. Like, never mind the tenfold increase in population from human aid, etc. Never mind the vaccination experiments and the AIDS and all this other stuff. Like, the icing on the cake, like, that's how you know someone's really evil, is when it's not just a pragmatic thing. It's not just like trying to bring about some future world scenario. It's not like, oh, we need to do this to get to the means justify the end. We have to get here. We have to get to the future. And injecting these blacks is very important to do. Like, it's absolutely evil when he's like, okay, now we're gonna make poo-poo cakes.
Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm your guest host, Jay Dyer. I was on here a couple months ago for the first time, and I said some strange, enigmatic, mysterious phrases. I prophesized. I said test tube, gub gub, snail man, micro machines, and some people were mystified by this, but I was predicting the future. I was predicting the one, the only, the legend of trolling, Mr. Samuel Hyde, is joining us today. And before I mention that, before I get into that, I wanted to say that, I thought that I was a legend of trolling at one time. When I was in high school, we actually arranged a kind of a black operation, you could say, in high school black ops, where we wanted to upseat the existing order by electing a beautiful slow boy to class president. And that's a true story. The cheerleaders, Mean Girls Brigade were furious, and I thought that I had mastered something of trolling. But I realized that in the big leagues, I was nothing. I myself was a test tube gub gub snail man micro machine of trolling. And today I have the master, probably the, as Alex said, top of the totem pole of comedy for everyone, perhaps 40 and under, Mr. Sam Hyde. Sam, are you there?
Can you see me? Hey.
I can see you, sort of.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes, that beautiful smoky voice is coming through.
I gotta finish reading. I'm on the last page of my favorite book right now. Hold on. Is it? God damn, man. 1 second. Let me just change the background. Choose background effect. There we go. Okay. I gotta finish reading the last page of my favorite book. Just kidding.
Oh,
just
crap,
kidding,
dude. Oh my God.
Thank you for sending these, by the way. They're very entertaining.
The master troll trolled me on the Alex Jones Show. This is epic. They'd
be more entertaining if they weren't so packed with disturbing realities. 1 second. Let me just get back in Elon Musk's private AI chamber. Okay, hey, I'm back. We're using teleportation now. I don't know if you know that's real, but teleportation's
there with the Coom bots.
Yeah. Yes, we're researching new ways to coom, new unnatural, freakish ways to genetically modify your testicles to make them make your orgasm 10 times more powerful.
Sam.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, Sam, slow down. You're gonna blow our minds. Tell us. Let's get back to the origins. What are the origins of Sam Hyde? His influences, his comedic prowess. Where do you come from? Who inspired you?
This is not a joke. I seriously just swallowed this wrong. 1 second. Give me like 1 second. Okay, all better. So I'm really sorry about that. It's unprofessional. Well, let me ask you something, because I need to know before we do battle and debate, because I'm an atheist technological. No, I'm just kidding. But I want to size you up and know. God! I seriously took that in the lungs. What kind of man you are. So I want to know, are you Burt's Bees strawberry man? Or are you a vanilla bean man? Are you more of a classic man? This is important, by the way. Or are you a honey man? Or wait, are you a peppermint man? Are you a strawberry man? That's a dupe. Are you pumpkin spice? Are you more of a cucumber mint style? Or would you call yourself wild cherry? Now, the thing people don't know about wild cherry, it stains your lips red. That's a price you might have to be willing to pay because it is technically the best flavor. Now, I'll tell you my answer. What's your answer? Go with your gut.
My immediate reaction is that soy mean face, but probably my fiance does lip gloss, so I just use whatever lip gloss she's got laying around. So no Burt's Bees for me.
Solid answer. Solid answer. Lip gloss, sometimes superior case. I'm cucumber mint myself. Hold on a second.
I knew it. Yeah, cucumbers.
I'm sorry. I'm not sure. I shouldn't. I'm a little nervous right now.
It's okay,
Sam. In front of this many eyeballs.
Sam, tell us your origins and your influence. Where do you come from?
I don't know, man. I've been I guess for influences, you know the show Wonder Chosen?
Mm-hmm.
You ever hear of Wonder Chosen? I think if there was one comedic influence that did the most for me, it would be Wonder Chosen. And there was also a collection of cartoons back in the day called Liquid Television, and both of those, I think those are important because the aesthetics to me has always been more interesting than the content, which is weird to say, but like the kind of the kind of vaporwave stuff you do, that like I think the dressing, the sort of the stylization of things is there's an importance there. It's easy to get like wrapped up in going with aesthetics in a way that's like vain or doesn't have substance behind it. And I think taking combining substance with like finely honed aesthetics has been what's always kind of interested me. So most of my influences are aesthetic influences, 80s anime, 90s anime, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I remember you used to watch Liquid Television, and I was always entranced by Aeon Flux, and she was always like, doing things with nipples. It was an obsession with nipples in that show, and it always weirded me out, even though I love the art. But what was great about Liquid Television was that it was like a variety show, and they would offer actually creative, stuff going on in alternative art at the time. There's nothing like that. Like, it was there for a while, it went away. And I see you, yes, as definitely a successor to that. Is that you went to art school, you did this kind of stuff. You had to deal with the art hose at art school. You did some great comedy about them art hose. How did you get through art school without going crazy?
I think that's when I started to think seriously about the distribution of resources and about the sort of puerile notion that most people have when they're like 12 years old, when they start to think about government and how things should be distributed, and seeing the inefficiency and the just the bureaucracy and what a scam college is. That was a big formative thing for me, was like living through the scam and watching my dad blow $250,000 on stuff you could learn on YouTube, basically.
Yeah, I had a similar experience. I didn't blow that much. Wow. I did blow quite a bit though on grad school. And in the middle of grad school, I realized that I'm paying this D-bag liberal guy to tell me that I can get a piece of paper, and that he, who hates me, will allow me to go and talk about the things that I actually knew better than that guy. You know what I mean? It's like, this is totally a scam and brainwashing, by the way.
It's such an insane waste of money, because that amount of money, you can use that to start not just one business. I mean, it depends on what kind of business you're trying to start, but that's startup capital for fucking, I'm sorry. Oof. That's startup capital for effing 10 businesses, and that's across the entire country, all those people. I mean, if you want to help, if you're one of these people that wants to, if you want to do good, if you want to be charitable, look at the waste of money that's happening in colleges, and think about what that money could do. I mean, Dwight Eisenhower has that his quote about man, I'm too scatterbrained for this podcasting stuff. This is one reason why I don't do it. But when he was
No, that's
railing
good.
against the military-industrial complex and talking about how one B-52 bomber is like the cost of a hospital, that kind of thing.
Right.
It's just like there's so many people who are concerned with helping society, but they're unwilling to look for inefficiency in these hallowed institutions.
Before we get to Paradigm Shift, which was kind of an epic troll, I want to take us out to the break and mention that if you want to follow Sam's work, you can go to mde.tv to get access to his content. My work is at jaysanalysis.com. You can find my books, my subscription, and all that there. And when we come back, we're going to get into some of the most epic trolling probably ever. If you've seen the Yes Men, you can think of those kinds of trolling events. But I think this one even topped that one by making fun of the whole TED Talk phenomena. So when we come back, we'll get into that with Sam Hyde. Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm your guest host, Jay Dyer of Final Hour, with our good friend Sam Hyde. Sam, when I first saw TED Talks, back in the early 2000s, I remember seeing the first one actually was not bad. It was something about like symbols and geometry and nature. And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then I click on the next TED Talk and it's like some witchy woman saying, we have more men. We have more women graduating from college than men now, and women are more men than man. And then I click on the next one, and it's Bill Gates, and he's talking about we got to get the numbers down, we got to get the population down. So
eat your own doo-doo. drink
how
the
did
poo
you come
water.
up with this epic troll of Paradigm Shift where you trolled TED Talk? Can you tell us about that?
I'm sure you've talked about this before. The Bill Gates's fixation on getting people to drink pee and drink their doo-doo water. That's so insane. I'll get to your question in a second.
How we're gonna make feces into meat, this kind of stuff, and
yeah. Like if you, dude, this is the thing. All right, I'm not actually all that racist. I'm probably as racist as most people are. I'm probably as racist as most black people are. And there are things that happen to black people that are like mind-blowing. Like this, the human guinea pig stuff in Africa is so insane. And the Bill Gates like testing, it's almost like this stuff they're doing is so evil. It's almost like if you had a video game and the point of the video game was to be as evil as possible to as many black people in Africa as possible. Like and then making it so that they're like trying to get it so they're drinking urine and feces. That's the most insane evil thing, man. Like never mind the tenfold increase in population from human aid, etc. Never mind the vaccination experiments and the AIDS and all this other stuff. Like the icing on the cake, like that's how you know someone's really evil is when it's not just a pragmatic thing. It's not just like trying to bring about some future world scenario. It's not like, oh, we need to do this to get to the means justify the end. We have to get here. We have to get to the future. And injecting these blacks is very important to do. Like, it's absolutely evil when he's like, okay, now we're gonna make poo-poo cakes.
Yeah, it's intentionally puerile. It's an intentional, like the dog, rub the dog in the face, his face in the mess. So
and
you brilliantly.
I don't mean to appear callous, like laughing so much. It's just that it's so insane and twisted. Like
it doesn't sound real. It sounds crazy.
It's not even out of like science fiction. Like it's beyond that. Like if a science fiction writer wrote something like that, you'd be like, oh, this is disturbing. I don't want to read this anymore. Like there's not that many ideas like this in great science fiction. It's just so insane. Anyway, sorry.
Gil Bates had already done his TED Talks, and then you did your troll of the TED Talk. Can you tell us how that came about?
It's just like, watching TED Talks, because there's some good TED Talks. It's like there's usually something interesting you can glean from most of them. There's always something. Someone will say something that's interesting, and it'll be worth skimming through for 20 minutes on double speed or whatever. But
right.
Just the it's the sort of Reddit Reddit atheist scientism, like taking all of human knowledge and all of the scientific method, balling it up into this like cool little robot guy and say, for science, eureka, and like fetishizing and like people who don't have the ability to go through a scientific paper. Not saying I have that ability either, but people who just have no understanding, and they look at these like the promise of gleaming rockets and the promise of tasty vaccines, and thinking that like this is the new god or something like that. And that's sort of the vibe that I got from TED Talks. The guy that organizes TED Talks, I forget what his name is. It's some slightly fruity sounding name, Christophorus, something like that. But he comes on stage with like an Asian style no collar shirt. And whenever
like
he does make an
villain
appearance,
type of shirt, yeah,
exactly. And when he makes an appearance on stage, when the TED Talk is interesting enough and important enough and high level enough for him to come on stage and like thank the person, he's always like he's got this like weird kind of air of humility, like he's talking to the Pope or something. Like he'll come up and like shake the hand like it's a precious. This is the most precious handshake. You are a prophet. You are leading us in the new way. That kind of thing. So I just thought it was a sphere that was ripe for some kind of prank like that. I know, to be fair, what I did was a TEDx talk. It wasn't a TED Talk, so it was less thoroughly vetted. But I think I got the point across.
It still worked, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
And this was not that long ago. You're the sort of the beefy. Somebody said you looked like a built Leon Trotsky. So you were already the buff Leon Trotsky, Sam Hyde there at that point. But
thank you.
Now,
whoever said
you
that.
had $1 million Extreme. Do you want to get into the drama of the cancellation? Because you were like the pioneer of the deplatforming cancel culture stuff for comedy. You were before the media stuff, the alt media and all that. They went for comedy. They went for you.
Yeah, well, I think the key thing that sort of set us up for targeting is we were kind of like the last remaining, not like white power, but like group of white guys not acting like fruity little apologizing the way that other white guys in entertainment sort of have to act. You know what I mean? And it was just very strong and unapologetic and high octane. And I think I understand why it was threatening, especially with the Jews rock sketch. I can see why they took issue with that.
Yeah, and you guys had high ratings. I think you had like what a million or two in the regular...
we broke 1 million. We broke 1 million views on I think the first and last episodes. We were like number 2 for not just Adult Swim, but for which wouldn't be that impressive, but for like late night cable. I forget what the rankings were, but we killed it. And the creative head of the network, Mike Lazo, he said we're going to shoot 100 more episodes. You guys are the next Tim and Eric. We're going to do 100 more episodes. Everyone was stoked on it.
And you had basically just a couple blue check marks with what 5-10 followers and retweets. Simply send out a few emails and everyone just collapsed and capitulated.
Yeah, it was I think probably what did it was Bernstein directly getting in contact with what's the guy, Jeff Zucker, the guy that runs whatever, what's Turner, what's above Turner?
I
mean, I don't care about the stuff you know. Dude. Yeah, it was the BuzzFeed dude directly emailing the top yarmulke at the network, getting us yanked. No offense.
Did you? There's a phone call where you had a conversation with that guy. That was pretty funny. But and you never did characterize yourself as alt-right. It was just sort of this label that then they paste on whoever they want. Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. I'm your guest host, Jay Dyer of jaysanalysis.com. I have this beautiful fashion bag that I often shop with and wear as I walk across campuses, and it's this beautiful face. I believe is this Miss Mama Hyde? Is that Mama Hyde, or who is that? You? Is that you?
Well, that's me at a moment of high bloat and probably high estrogen as well. So if you want to call that Mama Hyde, you're welcome to. And I do resemble my mom in that. Yeah, thank you. You were asking about the alt-right thing. I think alt-right is one of these terms that's so it's such a linguistic weapon. It's like the word Nazi, where it kind of takes on the meaning of whatever the person throwing it out means. I don't think it's unfair to say that I'm alt-right. I definitely think that white people should have some sense of identity and should stop being such pussies, and that we should stop pretending like race isn't real. I don't have any sort of hatred. So I think the one thing that was the place they took it with was they said that picture is crazy. The place they went with it was they said that we had swastikas in the graphics for the show. The graphics for the show, I worked on those. I put blood, sweat, and tears into those graphics. It's like some of the best work I've ever done. And we were forced to censor them completely, including the logo for the show. So you can only really see the final versions by looking at my upload of them on YouTube. And there are no swastikas in any of the graphics for the show. So that's the one kind of funny claim they made, was that we put.
I deconstruct films and symbolism, and I will point out, squares and compasses and, kind of esoteric Masonic symbols in film. And then these people will say, "You're crazy. You're a lunatic. It doesn't exist." However, for you,
Yeah, exactly. Like symbolism suddenly becomes very real when it's directed at them. But the one thing we did was we used the James Holmes shooter logo in the main World Peace logo. That is true, as you can see. Wow. What is the meaning of life? Right. What is the meaning of death? And the reason for that is
this is like high level serious satire. And of course, Sarah Silverman, she can get away with this. She can make jokes about whatever she wants to, but just subtle things, right? I mean, you have undergone a very bizarre situation where a meme of you, and I think you were probably like the first comedian to really become a meme, and then the meme takes on a life of its own. What was that experience like?
It's not as shocking as people think. It really doesn't affect my life all that much. These shooter memes. I have gotten a few visits from the FBI, but they've always been. I explained to them how computers work, and I explained to them that it's possible to make a Facebook account with someone else's name, and then they usually stand down. Not to mention the fact that I tower over them and physically dominate them and intimidate them in our interactions.
So the FBI guys were all like, "Hey, we got this buff guy here. Looks like Leon Trotsky." So you got like FBI boomers.
The first time they sent this guy that was looked like Columbo, like he actually struck me as a sharp guy, but he was like a little guy. Then the second time they sent two big dudes that I was still bigger than, and I still was standing there flexing as I answered their questions. Can I give some shout outs, Jay, before I forget here?
Yeah.
Can I shout some people out? Shout out to Frank Hassel. Check him out on YouTube. Shout out to Big Flame, Joey, Instagram, JXXYY, Jet Neptune, Concept Graphics, killing it. Reigns FX, it's a short list. I'm almost through it. W. Girardi on Instagram, Derek Maves, B9 Tumor, Jesse Yellen, Joe Rogan, and Cantbot and Wecking Ball. Cantbot and Wecking Ball. Check them out. Let's keep going here. What else we got to talk about?
Let's talk about the Great Reset, because this idea of, have you heard of this happytalism thing? This like gay version of capitalism, even more gayer, where it's like, now we're going to focus on an economics of making people happy. The UN is going to replace individual entrepreneurs, and you're going to be awesome in this. Yeah, doesn't that sound good? And this fits into this Great Reset, where they're going to replace like owning stuff with a circular sharing economy. That's what they want to bring in. Have you heard of this?
Has anyone coined the term circle jerk economy yet? Can we start using that?
That's where it goes, apparently.
Okay. No, that sounds fun. So you rent your stuff and you kind of like share the land and stuff like that. Is that how it works? Okay.
Yeah, you want to have a car.
I didn't need it anyway. I didn't want it anyway. I wanted As long as the car that I'm renting can somehow benefit the impoverished people that throw glass outside my building and make it so that I have to get new tires and new windows every couple of months. As long as it can benefit them somehow, I'm happy for that. I love it. What else they got in this great reset?
Yeah, I bring this up because we know you're a fan of Stefan. Of course, Stefan just got deplatformed. And one thing that you talk about in some of your videos, it's actually pretty practical. I wanted to get to because you do have some good videos that are advice to young guys. And if you want to mention some of that, because those are pretty popular as well. If you want to, what's the advice you give to young dudes?
Well, step one is get you some of these right here, estrogen blockers. Okay, you might need some of those, dude. I was so lost because I had my father wasn't like negligent or anything, but he just wasn't a man in the sense of like the sense that we would use it. And there's such a lack of masculinity nowadays and an absence of male role models, and it's a crazy looking landscape. And that's why I think people like Stefan gets a lot of people beefing with him for being culty and dogmatic and whatnot. And there's people that want to pick bones with Jordan Peterson over being kind of basic. Can I say the B word? Basic bitch? Is that allowed? People think Jordan Peterson's kind of a basic bitch guy, and he's also whatever weakness with the painkillers and whatnot. But I think it's so important for to find male role models and try to emulate them or figure out get the old wisdom, the wisdom of old, and bring that into your own life, because it still applies. We're still in a battle. It's an info war. It's a battle for the mind. It's not a bloody trench warfare battle, but we're in a battle for the soul of humanity right now. So you better start acting like it and get some of that old Sun Tzu wisdom.
Yeah, I remember when I was mired in student debt back in my 20s, and I was listening to Alex. I listened to Stefan at the time, and they were always talking about being an entrepreneur. And I kind of had in my mind that you can't start your own business. That's for some other weird CEO dude in Silicon Valley or something. And then finally, I just sort of broke and was like, I'm just going to try it. I might as well. I'd rather try that than be a wage slave. And I ended up having some success. And so I think there's a lot of wisdom in trying to get young guys to think about being an entrepreneur. And you promote that a lot. I really appreciate that about what you talk about. It's getting harder with the tech stuff, but you've been successful still.
I got something important here, Jay. The only real resource, young men nowadays are so destroyed. They have their hormones are effed up. They have no money. Anybody I talk to that hits me up on Instagram or whatever, I'm like, first thing I ask is, how much money do you have saved up? They have $200. Like nobody has nothing. Nobody has any skills, etc. The only thing young people have now is time. Time is this. It's cliche to say what a golden, important, vital resource, precious resource it is, but it's also true. You can't overstate the importance of time. So going into business, being an entrepreneur or whatever, or getting some sort of skill, like taking your time and trading it to somebody else for a barely over minimum wage, and if it's not getting you skills, if it's not advancing what you want to do for yourself in the world, it's such a colossal waste. When you think about that, if you're working at Target, if you work at Petco, if you work some ass job like that, you should imagine yourself on a wooden stakes like an old witch burning, and just know that that's what you're doing with your vital essence, with what you've been given. Yeah. If you work a day job, you are burning everything. There's that. How you like that?
I hear that beautiful piano music, and I feel like I'm Matthew McConaughey flying my Lincoln up into space, because I think that's that beautiful music from that weird, creepy movie Interstellar. That's also it's a bunch of mess. Excuse me.
I'm sorry. I went into Matthew mode and I messed up there. Sam Hyde, he's with me here on the Alex Jones Show. Welcome back, Sam. We were talking about men, what it is to be a man. You say things like simple stuff: lift weights, get a skill, get a trade,
get a gun, go crazy, become insane, become desperate, go out in the streets. I can't say
Don't
that.
live on video games,
Jay.
right?
Are you crazy? I can't say that. No, I think when you first start getting woke, when you first start learning that the world is this sick hall of mirrors, it's tempting to get feverishly caught up in the various little plots and schemes and attempt to unravel them, which is important work. But I think a lot of people get overwhelmed by that, and they get sort of fatalistic and black-pilled, as they say. And I think for anyone who ever gets black-pilled or overwhelmed or whatever, yeah, Pepe Silva, right, Sylvia, right there. I think it's one of the most radical things you can do is take ownership over your own little circle, your own, yourself, your family, your friends, becoming treating that like it's this world problem that you want to solve. And step one to that is learning about masculinity and getting that's why people like Stefan Molyneux and Jordan Peterson are so attacked, even though none of what they say is really, insane or racist or what have you. It's just what they're saying is radical because it's effective potentially in fixing the world. I think people need to just get that masculinity, homie.
Do you feel like comedy is it dead now? I mean, I remember 10 years ago, I would watch Mitch Hedberg and comedians. I thought, oh yeah, stand up, it's kind of funny. And then it's like in the last 10 years, stand up is almost itself another vehicle for social justice. And you got these Hannah, what's her name, trans comedian, and she's just propped up because of like some weird, fixation that she has. Is comedy dead?
Even big ones, even great ones. Is that a man right there that we're looking at? I thought that was a lesbian.
Well, if you became Samantha Hyde, then you would probably be welcomed back, right? If you made that
person is so disturbing to look at. I probably would. That's a good tactic right there. I tried being black, but nobody. I didn't take enough melatonin or melanotan 2 to convince people. Comedy's dead. I mean, for comedy to be an art form that's like worthwhile, it has to be subversive. It has to be the underdog. It has to be the voice of truth that's like uncomfortable to speak. And now the version of truth that's uncomfortable to speak is F Trump. You know what I mean? In one way or another. It's whether it's veiled in a sophisticated way or whether it's just straight up, look at Donald Trump, he's so fat, he's got no penis, he must have a short penis. Or whether it's something more sophisticated like some of the stuff that Dave Chappelle has done recently. It's all F Trump in some way or another. So no, it's a wasteland.
Yeah, and there's a similar parallel in journalism. Journalism used to be supposedly this thing that was there to keep eyes on the establishment and to critique and chase after stories. Supposedly we have this idea of journalists going after mobsters back in the 50s, and they would pursue the truth to their own altruistic ends wherever they led. Yeah, and now
it is the establishment. Now journalism, now the political establishment bends the knee to the media. A lot of the time, and now it's just a hand in hand. It's part of the same coctopus, same octopus right there,
Do you think there's stages of the cucking of comedy? Like, does a big comedian kind of get to a certain point, and then he's maybe expected to do this to go to the next level, or to keep getting the work? Is that where it's at? Where they're all basically expected to do this?
They made it pretty clear to me that we would have one reason why our group kind of fractured afterwards was they made it clear to me that we would have been able to keep the show if I issued a public apology and took our subreddit down. There's definitely time. Of course, anytime you get, it's probably this. I mean, I'm sure it's the same in any field, any industry. As you get bigger, people come out of a shadowy figure comes out of the woodwork and tells you, hey, you have to say this. Just alter your message slightly. If your podcast gets bought by some company that has a lot of Chinese money, there's probably a topic that you're going to start avoiding because of it, you know?
What's your favorite MDE sketch?
Joe Rogan. Sorry, I was kidding.
We'll get to your challenge here in a minute for
Joe
Rogan.
I want him. I can taste blood. Probably my favorite stuff is the stuff I did on my cell phone in my mom's apartment way back in the day, because that was the most insane.
You tormenting your mom is just golden.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It was the most insane and desperate time of my life, and those videos. It was like the one, not ray of hope, but it was like the most joyous moments were in front of that mirror, just saying the most cracked out stuff that I could come up with.
All of your mom's echoing constantly. Sam,
yeah.
stop.
Yeah. Oh my!
You just
goodness.
keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing.
I know. Well, part of her, it's not so much that I want to abuse my mom or anything. I love my mom so much. I talk to her often, but her style of parenting was just such constant like browbeating and nannying and like telling me that my teeth were gonna fall out if I used them to like unscrew a bottle cap or something, or that I was gonna burn the roof of my mouth, like hypochondriac stuff, like to an extreme, like constant warnings. You're gonna lose your fingertips if you touch that thing. You're gonna get electrocuted if you go down the stairs. You have to watch out on the streets. So the kind of like light abuse that I gave her in those videos, trust me, is fully warranted. And
your mom, I'm guessing, she's boomer, right? There's something about the boomer era where they're afraid of everything. Like they're really afraid of everything.
Yeah, big time. She's boomer to the core.
Now, you have a campaign going. Let's talk about that. You have issued. You want to get Rogan into the octagon.
I've issued several threats. I've had some of my friends from the martial arts world, Chuck Norris, Nick Diaz, Lennox Lewis, etc., back me up in real videos that they made for me, not cameos that I paid for. That's a rumor that I want to squash right now. There's a rumor going around that I paid $2,500 for a Caitlyn Jenner cameo that was canceled, but my bank account still got charged. I'm waiting for the chargeback on that. That's a rumor. And Lennox Lewis and Randy Couture did indeed come out with messages just for me, because I'm in that world. I'm in Joe Rogan's world. I'm kind of a master of that world. I'm more respected than Joe Rogan is. You think Lennox Lewis would make a video for Joe Rogan? I don't think so. Okay, the guy's a multi-millionaire, best legendary heavyweight. I don't think he's making a video for Joe Rogan. He made one for me because I'm in the game. Joe,
and you're ready to step into that octagon.
I'll step into the octagon with Joe. I don't care. I'll let him put his pajamas on and try to cuddle me and roll around. I'll punch him dead in his face. I don't care. I know what his strategy would be. His strategy would be to hug me and try to cuddle with me in pajamas for 10 minutes, try to wear me out like that. No, you're getting punched dead in the face, Joe. I don't care if you got a turning sidekick. I got a flipping sidekick. I got a backwards around town sidekick. You haven't even seen my sidekick.
He'll come in with a team of lawyers, right?
Probably, yeah.
Like 11 lawyers in the octagon.
I'll come in with a team of Hispanic gangbangers. How about that, Joe?
Oh, some cholos.
I got cholos. My MS-13 homies, Cezanne, Chino, Compache, Chico, Chachi, Cheech. They'll all be there.
And by the way, I issued a challenge to you, which you ignored, which was that after that, I will step into the octagon with you, and you can bring Butterbean or any of the washed up UFC people in there.
You're a man of God. I don't want to test my standing with the big man upstairs by taking on one of his great champions. I'll pass on that one. All right.
All right. Well, thank you, Sam Hyde, for joining me. It was great.
Hey, Jay, thanks a lot, man, for having me on.
Absolutely.
And thank you for sending these Esoteric Hollywood. Thank you for sending that out as well, my man.
Yes. Hope you enjoy it.
Just a few months ago, almost every storable food manufacturer was sold out. They were still taking people's orders, and many of the companies have still not fulfilled them. All the orders we got in have been fulfilled. Our supplier's the best, the highest quality, the best containers to transport it as well, and they've got the food with 4 factories in stock. Takes them 2 to 4 weeks to get it shipped out to you. You need to order your storable food now. The world is much more dire. The economic system is collapsing. The third world's already starving to death. Food prices are exploding here. The farms and the production plants are shutting down because of the COVID hoax. You need to get your storable food while you still can at InfoWarsStore.com. It's a 360 win. It also funds our operation. But you need to get it, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, a year. You need to get that now and have that check box off of being prepared and being self-sufficient. We also have high-quality water filtration and air filtration at InfoWarsStore.com. They're absolute must. But whatever you do, ladies and gentlemen, don't wait until a bigger crisis comes. Don't wait till everybody panics. Take action. Get ready now. 4 years ago, I added a member to the InfoWars Life team who has developed products for major national grocery store and food chains to make sure that he can go to the developers and manufacturers of high-quality supplements and make a new standard. Well, that individual helped us come up with Body's Ultimate Turmeric Formula with 95% curcuminoid extract concentrate when the leading competitors have 3 to 5%. We believe it is the strongest in the market. If somebody else has got one, we don't know about it. Now, folks absolutely love it. They love the results that they get from it. Now, this is apples and oranges because it complements Body's. But going back over 7 years ago, we had a major supplier of high-quality organic turmeric that was liquid that you take under the tongue, and people loved it. Then we could no longer get it anymore because that company was so overloaded with orders from other people, because getting high-quality turmeric is really a tough thing to do. We've now secured another company in the last year that has even higher quality turmeric concentrate. This is one ingredient, pure turmeric extract. It's the liquid type, taken under the tongue. If you love Body's, I think you're really gonna love this product. Some people around the office that have tried it say it's better than Body's. Some say it's not. Some say it supercharges it. All I know is this is one of the strongest, if not the strongest, turmeric extracts under the tongue you can find out there, and it's got a different delivery system. All I know is this is one of the strongest turmeric concentrates that's liquid that you take under the tongue that you're going to find out there, and that our developer is extremely proud of it, and the reviews we're getting internally are amazing. It's 25% off out of the gates at InfoWarsStore.com. I suggest you secure yours and try it today, because if you liked Body's, you're going to love our new product, Pure Turmeric Extract, at InfoWarsStore.com.